Today we're talking about 5 of the most feral INFJ comebacks. INFJs don't like drama. INFJs don't like disharmony. We definitely don't like any altercations with other people. We actually tend to go in the other direction. We don't want to rock the boat. We rather walk on eggshells. Situations and dynamics that aren't healthy either. But INFJs in general are not people who go out of their way to create some kind of, drama or altercation with other people. Still, if we really get pushed so far, there will be a reaction. And those reactions can be very wild and feral. So today we're going to talk about 5 of the most feral INFJ comebacks. And we're also going to ask the question, should we really go that far? Is it worth it or not? So these are the things we're going to explore today. Before we get started though, I'm happy to announce that we have dates for the next INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp. So we're launching August 19th. And this time around, I want to make it as straightforward for you as possible. So we're always going to have a little checklist. And there are 3 things to do. Number 1, if you haven't done this so far, download the free poster on the 5 pillars to an INFJ epic life. So this is the basis of what the bootcamp is all about. Second, join the waiting list. Once you're on the waiting list, you get access to the early bird price and you get notified once we go live. And number 3, set a reminder for the free INFJ Epic Life Masterclass that is happening on launch date, so on August 19th. All of those steps you can find in the links in the description. Number 1, playing dumb and insulting people. So this is not something that, INFJs do on a regular basis, of course. We're not the people who go out and want to insult people. But if you have somebody who comes to you and they're trying to make sneaky remarks and make you feel uncomfortable and they want you to feel inferior to them without blatantly saying it, those kind of actions, the thing that INFJs do best in those situations is to completely play dumb, as in, I'm not even hearing what you're saying. I'm not understanding that you're insulting me, but at the same time, I'm insulting you back. Because this is something that makes people completely uncomfortable because they don't know. Are you really not getting it? Or if you're getting it, are you insulting me? Or is this just, a coincidence? It's something that drives people wild. And INFJs have learned this tactic early on because of 2 reasons. Number 1, we are that good at making people feel a certain way. We're really good at putting people in this position where they're unsure what's going on, making people baffled. So if you're not reacting the way they would hoped you would, so you're not acting in a way of, what are you doing? What are you saying? You're also not getting insecure, but you're like, oh, really? That's amazing. And at the same time, you have some kind of comeback that really tells them oh, I know what you're doing and, I'm going to get you back for that. But you're not really saying it out loud. You're actually playing their game, but you're playing it better than them. And this kind of situation makes people crazy. They don't know how to handle this. And so many INFJs are able to do that, or are capable of doing that, and they're not doing it because they feel like it's mean. And I'm here to tell you, you are not starting this. If another person starts this with you, show them clearly that you're not the person to be messed with. That's something that you're capable of, because the truth is you can react this way. You know how to react this way because this reaction is probably one of the first things that come to mind when it comes to INFJs. But we very often don't do this because we think, oh, it's going to go overboard. They're going to get really insulted or hurt, and I don't want them to feel this way. But know that one of the main reasons why we don't want that is that on some level, we feel we're going to be completely rejected. You have to be willing to stand on your own when it comes to this. If somebody acts like this towards you, no matter what they're going through, no matter if you think they're cool or nice people or whatever this is, if they act this way, then they have to feel their own medicine. There is no other way around, because you're not the one hurting them. You're not the one who, goes out of your way to make them feel uncomfortable. Everything you're doing is being a mirror to their behavior. So keep that in mind and know that it's about time that we as INFJs show people you can do this with me. Most feral INFJ comeback number 2 is the monster comes out. INFJs are really graceful. We have this composure about us when we enter a room. We can be very delightful. We can be very tactful. But underneath all of that, there's this, force that will come out. And every single one of us has experienced this about themselves. And this is not something that we're too proud of. Like sometimes we talk about it. Once, we've handled this and we've gone through many situations, we can openly talk about it. But the truth is, for a very long time, this part stays something that we're ashamed of because it's so powerful. It makes people so scared that it scares us. But still, it is a comeback and it's something that happens. And if other people push INFJ to that extent, that's what they're going to get at some moment. Because, you can hold it together just for that long. At some point, you're just going to burst out. That's just physics. Like you cannot hide it. You can, put that much pressure on a cooker at some moment, like it's going to explode. And that's what happens to INFJs. So if we don't want that extreme of a reaction, it's on us to actually let it out beforehand. So if people start coming at you and they're being disrespectful, they're crossing boundaries, show them a taste of this monster early on. Know that this is a part of you. You can be kind for such long periods of time because deep down you have this force within you. That's your protective layer. That's the reason why you can be so kind and so, welcoming and to give people the benefit of the doubt. So don't hide it for so long. You're going to be okay even if people see early on that you're not somebody to mess with, because then it will never get this far. People will understand, I cannot go further than this because I will burn my fingers. It's not on us to keep it together for as long as possible in the hope that people will get how much you're sacrificing, how much chances you're giving the other person. They cannot know this. The only way they can know who they're dealing with is if you show them early on to hear and know further. And when you have existing relationships, just change the dynamics now. Like, say to people, that's it. You're not going further. I know you've done this so far and I've allowed it, but that's it for now. And of course, it will take a couple of interactions, but they will get it at some point. So know that although this is like a feral INFJ clapback, most of the time it's not something that we enjoy, although it sounds funny, but it's not a comfortable situation. And so know that you're allowed to let it out in smaller doses earlier on, so people don't even push you that far, so it doesn't come out with such a brute force, later in time. Feral INFJ clapback number 3 is the famous INFJ door slam. This is something that a lot of people are not used to. It's something that really, flabbergasts people, that makes them completely shocked because they're not able to understand how somebody who seemed like so much into them. And again, I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. I'm also saying, like, you have shown this person, I respect you on a professional level. I respect you as, a mother. I respect you as a gardener. Whatever it may be, you've shown them so much courtesy so far. And then, you are able to completely cut them off. Right? They pretty much thought they had you in their back pocket. You were obsessed with them, or you were a fan. You were actually praising them, and putting them on a pedestal when all you were doing is trying to hype them up so they feel good about themselves. People often don't get it. And people actually start taking advantage of that. That's when the INFJ says, I cannot do this anymore. I door slam completely. I go my own way. And I pretend like that person has never existed. We're really good at doing that. We can close the door on people just like that. But that's not something we like to do. These are people that we have invested so much time in, so much energy, so much hope. And that's why we actually door slam, because it meant something to us. And doing the door slam is really uncomfortable. It's really heavy on our hearts. And it's really a last resort kind of thing. But it also shows the other person they did not know who they were messing with, because they really felt like they had the upper hand in the situation. And once you door slam, they understand they never ever had it to begin with. And so yes, it's devastating for you, but it's even more devastating to their ego. And so although this is, again, like a really feral clapback, it's something that shows people like, yeah, I had the upper hand. It's not what we want. And so in order to avoid that, it's not about giving the person the benefit of the doubt and giving them another chance. No, it's actually showing early on who you are, what you need, being, respected for what you bring to the table, and really approaching a situation from an eye level kind of thing. And if they cannot give you what you want to have in the relationship, stop giving 70% into it and waiting for them to do the 30. And if they're not doing 30, then you're giving 80 and 90. And at some point, you understand they're not doing anything, and then, it all blows up. No. If they're only giving 30%, you only give 30%. You don't go further. You're not investing more into the relationship than you're getting back. And you might say, okay, but isn't it on me? Like, I'm a little bit more mature in this respect. Let me do the first step. You can do the first step. You can even do the 10th step. But know that it should work like this. You can do 10%, they do 10%. You go 20%, they go 20%. That's okay. But don't do 10%. They're giving 10%. You're giving 20%. They're giving 20%. Then you're giving 30. They're not going with you. You give 40, they're not going with you. You give 50, they're still not going with you. That's not the way to go. And this is something that will most definitely lead to the INFJ door slam. So no, okay, I might do the first step, but I'm not going further than they are willing to. Feral INFJ clapback number 4 is the disdain. INFJs are remarkably able to make people feel certain things. We are great at creating an emotion. Very often people say INFJs are so great at keeping harmony, but it's a bland statement. It really much says, oh, okay, that's like a quality INFJs, have, which is I can create harmony in a situation. No, the INFJ can create an emotion in that situation. And that emotion that we choose to, create is harmony. The emotion that we choose to put into the situation is to make people comfortable. But because we can do that, we can also do the opposite, which is make people extremely uncomfortable. If you show up in a situation and you show it through your gestures, through the way you behave, through how you include or not include somebody, that you have a disdain for them, and it's this upper hand kind of thing where you live in your own world and that person over there is nothing to you, when before you acted like they were the superstar, that's going to make people really uncomfortable, because this is not the typical situation where, oh, you like somebody so much and then you're going to pretend like, I don't like them. But actually you do. And the way they react still makes you mad and you react a certain way. That's not what INFJs do. If we really have learned our lesson, if we really understood that, that person is not who I thought they were, and you change your perception about them, which INFJs do very often once they have some new information about them, there's really a switch in how they see themselves in comparison to the other person. And they start talking to them in a completely different way. And this is not only completely shocking to other people, but it's extremely uncomfortable. And it's something they never thought would happen. And this is one of those clapbacks where if it leads to that, well, it leads to that. Like, there's no other way out. But it doesn't have to get this far. Just remember, if you get to a situation where you really have such a disdain for this person, or you don't want to have them in your life because they're dragging you down or whatever it may be, that you really change your perception of that relationship, then for the next time, learn your lessons, understood what made you switch your mind so much, and then really make it a point to learn your lessons in a way of, these are the things I like, these are the things I don't like, and I'm not going to, give people the benefit of the doubt in that instant. I'm actually going to, say this is what I want and this is what I need. I know myself now because I've been in that situation before, and those were red flags that I, didn't see, that I didn't want to see, but now I'm going to pay attention and I'm not going to let it get this far. And feral INFJ clapback number 5 is mirroring weakness. So when I say mirroring weakness, I don't mean like you see a person and you see that they feel weak in any kind of way and then you're going to do the exact same thing. It's actually the opposite. What you're doing is acting in a way that makes them know that you are everything that they would want to be. And up until this point, you've hidden that. Really think about it. I think most INFJs do this on a regular basis and don't even know that they're doing this. Think of a person that you're dimming your light for. And you do this because you want to be kind. Because what would it be if you didn't dim your light? you would actually be great in this one aspect of your personality, in this one aspect of your life, and it would mirror to them what they don't have or who they're not. And so you try to hide this aspect of yours. This is a skill. And if you have the skill, which INFJs do, then you also have the skill of being everything that you want to be, that you've made small and that you kept small to protect the other person. Doing this makes people feel horrible. It really crushes their ego, particularly if they understand that, oh, I thought I had some control over that situation. I never did. That person is actually everything that I want to be. And just by you being in their presence, that makes them uncomfortable. And they won't even think that you're doing this on purpose. Although you act differently, they would just say, oh, okay, that person is somebody else. They're acting this way. But they're probably not going to think you're doing this on purpose to hurt them. Because doing that would mean that they admit to themselves that they actually have a weakness in that department and that they're insecure about these things. And people who are in these situations, who have those insecurities, who have those, perceived weaknesses, they're not, being honest with themselves about it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have those extreme weaknesses. And so this is one of the things that INFJs do when they feel like there is no other option, but they have to maintain their integrity and their own autonomy and, some kind of energy level, because otherwise you would just have a reality break. We have done this so often where we keep dimming our light and we keep dimming our light in the hope that the other person sees what we're sacrificing for them. It just doesn't work this way. And so in order to never let it get this far in the future, it really is all about understanding that you have the right to be everything that you are, to shine as bright as you possibly can. Because what will happen is that person will decide for themselves how close they can be to you. Like I've seen this with myself. Once I tapped into my potential, once I said I'm going to go after my dreams, a lot of people around me, people that I still care about now very deeply, distanced themselves to me. Because not only am I focusing on things that would make them uncomfortable to be around at, because it would remind them that they're not focusing on them, but on top of that, all that energy that I used to put into that relationship and focusing on the other person, I'm now putting into myself. And so this is a reminder again to choose you. You can choose you and still be kind. You can actually be kinder because there are no strings attached. There's no power dynamic here. There's no balance that has to be found. There's no lid on you or some light that you're dimming that at some point will explode. No. You're being your biggest, best self and having relationships that add to that. That's what we want. And when you tap into this, when you start living your INFJ epic life, you will see how those dynamics will just change. And those kind of situations that we talked about today won't even have to happen. So remember the 3 steps to get ready for the next INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp. So download the free poster on the 5 pillars to an INFJ Epic Life. Join the waiting list to get access to the early bird price and get notified once we go live. And set a reminder for the free masterclass. So we're going live August 19th. That's the same day of the masterclass. Everything you need to know you can find in the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video on why the true INFJ is so intimidating.